Hi there, I'm Chris Devine, and this is Six String World. The piece of gear I'm covering in this video is my Boss ME-70. Normally, the guitar playing parts in my videos are going through my Strymon Iridium, but since this is kind of an all-in-one device, I figured I wouldn't muddy the waters, so all the guitar parts in this video were generated with just the ME-70. I've had a lot of experience with all-in-one multi-effects devices since the early 1990s. Yes, I'm old. Things have come a long way since then. The interfaces and displays were really tough to navigate, and a lot of them really weren't developed for guitar specifically. In many cases, they were just studio devices appropriated by guitarists. Eventually, the idea of all-in-one effects devices changed, where it wasn't just a rack that always needed a separate floorboard to control it, but a floor foot pedal bass device with the brains incorporated into the foot switch. And now other things like drive and amp sounds were now included into things were just normally effects devices. Boss has always had their hands in everything, offering up plenty of configurations of their multi-effects for players, and their GT series of pedal boards really made the term all-in-one actually be musically practical for guitarists. Along the way, their lower cost ME units offered up a bit more of a streamlined version at a lower price. Eventually, the line between the GT and the ME units really started to blur, and that's what brings us to the ME-70. I ended up with this in a very unique way. Long story not so short, I actually had some pickups I was selling on Facebook Marketplace, and one thing I noticed, if you put something up for sale online, you can have all the specs, all the conditions, the versions, the variants, all the particulars written out. Inevitably, someone will ask you a question that could very easily be answered if they actually read the ad. One of the conditions for the sale of these pickups I listed was no trades. And of course, the first person asks, will I trade? I was about to go off on this guy asking, what part of no trades don't you understand? Can't you read? But I calmed down and I asked, well, what do you have in mind? And it was this Boss ME-70 with no box and a one-spot power supply. I looked up the ME-70 online to see what they were going for on Reverb, and it seemed like a pretty good deal, so I did it, and I haven't regretted it. Yes, I do happen to have a regular pedal board, so why would I grab this? Well, because I have a cover band that does a lot of acoustic gigs, and I was bringing a mini pedal board with a tuner, a boost, and sometimes maybe a chorus or a reverb pedal, and it sounded okay, but it wasn't as flexible as I would like. My thought was I could very easily run the ME-70 into the PA system, and I could use some presets for things like reverb, chorus, and delay, along with a boost, and the volume pedal would also be a great option to have as well. The size is also pretty small, and it can easily fit in my backpack. I like the idea that all the controls are analog, no menus, no parameter editing to navigate. Just turn a knob, get it to where you like it, and move on to the next one. Once you're done, hit save and it's ready to go. The downside is you can't really back up presets to things like a hard drive or export them to other devices because there's no MIDI or any USB connectivity. Sound-wise, it's really decent. It's actually beyond decent. Will this outmaneuver a Kemper or a Profiler? No. A Boss GT1000? No. But it's on par with, let's say, the Cube amps that Roland had out a while back, or a Katana for actual amp sounds. And the effects are otherwise, they're Boss's usual nice audio quality and some great options in there. You can't deep dive into the nuances, but it's, again, more like a bunch of Boss pedals at your feet with a better audio fidelity than just a bunch of individual daisy chain stomp boxes. Right now, they can be found for about $150 or so on reverb.com, and finding an easy-to-use, all-in-one pedal unit that's new for that price, it's kind of non-existent, especially when it sounds good. The only thing that really comes close is Boss's ME-70, which is the newest version that does allow for editing via knobs. However, you can do a little bit more deep dive editing with a USB connection, and it also can connect to a computer to do file transfers as well as being used as a recording interface. Overall, though, while it may be one generation behind, it's not an outdated piece of gear. I'm also planning on using this for some electrics for my cover band. In some of our smaller shows we have, I'll use some presets for acoustic guitar and have some presets for electric guitar while running this straight into the PA system. I'm not looking at putting in crazy distorted or anything really ridiculous. I'm looking more to bring just another guitar to the gig just to change the sound up for a few songs, maybe something in a different tuning or something that might be just easier to play on electric as opposed to playing on an acoustic. I've run this into my ZT amp with the guitar outputs, and it sounds really nice. With all the stuff you heard earlier in the video, like I mentioned, it was all from the recording / headphone out, and it worked fine. It sounds decent. That's how I've been using this little device, and hopefully my plans for it in the future will work out as well. And I'd like to hear from you guys. Are you using an all-in-one device that may not be the flagship product of a particular company, or maybe it's an older version? Do you have any tips or tricks of how to use the Boss ME-70? I would love to hear from other users that happen to own one. If so, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. If you like this channel, please hit the subscribe button, and the bell icon will let you know when I put up a new video. And if you like this video, click the thumbs up button, and if you want to share it, well, there's a button for that as well. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.